you are not against your competitors. You are your biggest competitor. You are against yourself. You have to focus on yourself. You have to think constantly about how you can improve, because it's not comparative. AYOP, which is in South Bend, Indiana, every year on the campus of Notre Dame. And I think it was more just watching champions compete. It wasn't about me. It was about watching the seniors go out and do these crazy, mind-boggling tricks and catch them in the most intricate places, and doing all these crazy things. And I was like, yeah. that is what I'm going to do that. I'm going to be the one that people are watching. And I knew baton was for me, then. And that only strengthened with every competition I went to. Again, I keep bringing it up, but I went to Japan in 2004 and watching the Japanese team compete and everything that they did. They had a team chiropractor. I was like, what? They had a team a person who made their lunches. And I was like, well, this is not what baton is in America. We got to make this happen here. So every competition had someone like that. It was never about what I won pushing me forward. It was watching what other people had and that I knew I could achieve. That made me realize baton was for me. 3 or 4. I think it was marching. There's this John Philip Sousa march song. You hear it on the 4th of July. You'd know it if you heard it. But you hold your baton and you march in a little square. And I was going in the square and someone knocked my baton out of my hand. You don't drop in this routine because you're just marching. And apparently, I went the wrong way. I was terrible. 3 or 4. I was an athletic disaster. I was not coordinated. I did very poorly in PE class. I loved to dance. I'm actually way more athletic now. I'm really, really proud to say, because when I was younger, it was bad. I was picked last for every team in gym, and the only time I actually won Gym Student of the Month because they have a dance unit at my school. So I was doing my line and square dancing, and that's what I got recognized for in my high school, which, I can still say I was PE Student of the Month. But I did play JV volleyball for a year. I think I was a freshman in high school, and my name is Chelsea, and the coach thought my name was Cheryl for the entire season. So I just went with that, and I was Cheryl, and everyone called me Cheryl. That's how bad I was, and I just sat the bench, did a lot of scorekeeping. And then in college, my junior year, I discovered Club Ultimate Frisbee. And that was the first time I really had a team experience and was kind of part of the impetus of me wanting to start a twirling team, because I was like, oh, this is a sense of community. This is really cool. I've never had this before. And we drove from Iowa to Georgia to Texas to North Carolina. We drove all over to compete. And actually, I wasn't very good, but our team was very good, and they made nationals one of the years that I was a member of the team. I didn't play a single point at nationals, but I was a very good cheerleader. And, that taught me a lot about, physical endurance and weight training and things like that. So it was a little niche sport too. So it was, there were some similarities in that community to the twirling community. And I still like to pick up a disc every once in a while. So that's fun. Iowa is really smart because they hold their audition first. And my top schools at the time were probably Michigan and Texas. That was what I was really deciding between. And University of Southern California. That was way up there for me. I was originally planning on going into acting or performance, so I really, wanted to be on the West Coast and be in LA. My aunt's from there. And I was like, Dad, no way am I going to Iowa. It's cold. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's just corn. I was so ridiculous about it. And I still worked really hard. I like to win, if you couldn't tell.
Of course.
About me from this conversation, but I was like, I'm still going to be the best one. Like, I still have to be offered the position. And, this is little 17-year-old me, like, trying to psych myself up. And I went, and we arrived in the middle of a hailstorm. And so I was being pelted with ice chunks as I disembarked from the plane. And I was like, yeah, Mom, no, this is not happening. My mom was also very ill, had like a 103 fever, was miserable. She looked at me, she's like, we never should come here. Like, this is ridiculous. This was all before my audition, right? We were so negative about, like, it just was not in the cards for me. And I went and I crushed the audition, and I had a 40-minute long interview with a panel of 13 judges, and it was an open audition, so the public was there, the press was there, and I was like, wait a second, hold up, the press is here? Like, what am I auditioning for? Like, that was like a very eye-opening moment for me of like, oh, this is for real. Like, this could be the rest of my life. Like, it was just a moment where it clicked, and I went from that, like, negative, I'm never going to do this, to, oh, this is respect for twirling, and I have not been giving this position respect. Like, I have been, downplaying it in my head, and I was lucky enough to be awarded the position, and I said, okay, well, I need to, get through my other auditions, I'll let you know, and he's like, oh, no, it's Saturday, we need to know on Monday. You need to tell us on Monday. And at that point, our flight home had gotten canceled. We got stuck there for 2 days. We couldn't really do a lot of touring because of the snow and the hail and the crazy weather. And I was just like, I don't know. I am feeling this pull that I didn't expect, before I got here. And maybe this is for me. And my dad really wanted me to do it. He's like, full tuition. How do you say no to that? Like, he's the one, like, paying the bills over here. He's like, you can't say no. What are you, crazy? But I just had that moment of, okay, this really is for me. And my mentality completely changed at that point. It was like, this place is cool. This is what I was meant to do. I can't believe how much they respect the sport of baton twirling. I just couldn't believe it. I'd never encountered that before. And it became very much not about me, but about my sport. And little did I know, they had one of the best writing schools in the country. So as an English major, it ended up working out exactly as it was meant to for me. If you are not loving what you are doing, you should not be doing it. And there is a way to find joy again in something that you have lost the joy for through the years. Because there were definitely moments, I told you I retired, quote unquote, a bunch of times from twirling, because in those moments I didn't love it. Or I'd achieved a goal I wanted to achieve, or I decided I was done for, reason XYZ. And I don't regret any of those times. It was hard coming back every single time. It was always a big challenge. I was getting older. It was harder to get my stamina back. But in those moments when I quit and stopped, it allowed me to realize yet again what I loved about this sport and what made it so special to me and why I wanted to be part of it. And I owed that to myself, to find that joy and to want to participate in it again, because why would I be going out and working hard and winning something and taking that away maybe from someone else who truly enjoyed it? I know that sounds kind of crazy. Like, it's not about who loves it the most. That's not who wins. Yeah. But that to me became the most important part of my journey when I was around 21 years old. I realized, like, I have to love this. And I need to find a way to love this. And if I don't, then I shouldn't be doing it. And I think it's okay to admit that to yourself, that there are times where you don't love it. And there are also times where you can be so mad at what you're doing and hate your sport and love it at the same time. Yeah. You hate it because it means the most to you. And as long as that's not an unhealthy, toxic type of relationship, I think that shows you love it more, right? The fact that you can feel so passionate about something and get so frustrated with something that, and yet still come back to it and love it so much. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah.